But first, to a total farce in Parliament today that should make you wonder, hang on, does this Albanese government have any idea what it's doing to businesses with its massive new union bill? And remember, it never mentioned before the election what it's trying to ram through Parliament now. Now, this bill would give unions a lot more power. If they've got a wage claim against one big business, for instance, this bill will let them rope in a lot of smaller businesses that will then have to accept whatever deal is reached, whether they can afford it or not. It's so stupid stuff, and businesses are naturally in uproar. I've never seen such a widespread protest by a business organisation, not in, I think, decades. And today the Reserve Bank Governor warned against it too.
In a world of more frequent supply shocks, we'll be better off if there's flexibility in our labour and our product markets so that we can respond quickly and effectively to unfolding developments.
Yeah, but the Albanese government thinks that it knows better than the Reserve Bank Governor, it knows better than businesses how businesses work. And for one, it seems to think that it can just pass a bill that's very cutely called the Secure Jobs Better Pay Bill. Just pass a law for better pay, and bingo, there it is. Governments can just pass a law for higher wages and no problem, it appears by magic, no cost to anyone. And you must wonder why the Liberals didn't think of that. Why did they keep passing bills for higher wages? Because it's fairy tale stuff. Yet today in Parliament we learned there's a few other things that this government has got wrong about how this bill will really work. Its own advisers warned it that medium-sized businesses, for instance, that get roped in by one of these multi-employer claims will have to pay around $75,000 on average to negotiate it. That's a hell of a bill. Except it turns out that there's a simple maths mistake in that advice. Now, the bureaucrats told the government accepted it, that the cost to the average medium business per worker is $273,700 divided by 50.2, and that works out to just under $13,000 per business before you add thousands more for outside consultants. But you do that division yourself. The real cost works out to not just under $13,000, but over $18,000 per medium business. So that when you add the cost then of the external consultants, it's got to be higher than the $75,000 per business the government says they'll have to pay to negotiate with the unions. It's actually more like $80,000. Oh, you might think, it's a little humble maths error, but if they can't even get that right, what else can this government get wrong about its new law and the cost of it to business, for whom, an extra $5,000 may not be insignificant? Well, even the government worries about, just what else it's got wrong, because you look at the laughable lengths it went to today to stop the opposition from asking the small business minister, Julie Collins, about this bill that she's helping to sell. Well, it was a circus. Collins has proved a bit shaky on detail this week, even though she's now a cabinet minister. So Labor First kept objecting to Collins even being asked about this mistake.
Can the Minister advise whether there is an error in the Industrial Relations Regulatory Impact Statement? And if so, can the Minister advise of the correct figure?
Oh, no, said the Leader of the House, Labor Minister Tony Burke. Oh, no, this is not a question for Collins.
It's about a medium-sized business, the question, not about the small business minister.
Is the argument now that the small business minister can't answer a question in relation to medium-sized business? Is that the argument being put by the Leader of the House? I mean, how long does this protection racket continue on for?
And then Tony Burke, that Labor minister, thought of another reason to have this question to the small business minister ruled out of order. The Liberal MP asking it was sitting in the wrong seat.
Is the member for Hughes even in her correct seat that she'd have to be in to be able to get the call?
How utterly pathetic. How can anyone trust the government's union bill when employers say it's a disaster, the Reserve Bank Governor warns against hurting productivity, when the government's advice contains a simple maths mistake underestimating the cost to employers, and when the government doesn't even trust its own small business minister to answer questions about how it affects business? I tell you, if even the government doesn't trust the small business minister, why should you buy any bill that she's selling